So let me bring you into the room on this current government funding fight. Okay, we have to cut spending. We cannot continue to put budgets and government funding bills on the floor that spend more money than Nancy Pelosi was spending during the pandemic. And rescissions, just pulling money out of accounts, that doesn't count as cutting spending. Cutting spending means programmatic cuts. Things go away that we're spending money on now. That's how you could tell if we've actually had a reduction in spending. So then you have to visit what the American people want from a priority standpoint. And while, we could talk all day about we want to defund Planned Parenthood, we've got to defund Jack Smith, we've got to defund what's going on at the ATF, all those critically important fights, we talk about them frequently. But right now, America is being invaded. And on that border, just as we're talking, you've got CBP and Texas Border Patrol Texas National Guard functionally in a standoff in Eagle Pass, Texas, where the Texas National Guard aren't letting the CBP in because the CBP were cutting the fences. We showed you on Firebrand's episode yesterday how CBP is cutting the fencing and letting the illegals into our country. So that's all really in bad shape right now. And I've said we need to close the border or close the government. That is the leverage we have. And in the words of my friend Chip Roy, we should take this Republican majority for a spin. We shouldn't just leave it in the garage. So that means within this government funding dispute, we have to demand that the border be closed. Not some promise that can be abandoned or memoed over later. We have to stop this wave of people. The best description of it to me is it's like if you have a fire hydrant that is overflowing. You're not going to solve that problem by resourcing buckets. You have to cut off the flow. And right now, you've got the Biden administration just running around asking for more buckets when we know what to do. Remain in Mexico, public health Title 42 authorities, safe third country agreements that President Trump's administration made with other nations so that all those folks don't think they can just illegally cross our border and wait here forever for an asylum hearing that they're never actually going to go to, that's never going to result in any removals. And even when they get their deportation orders from the asylum hearings, which over 1 million people have now, they still aren't removing those folks. No deportations, no border, no government funding. That's my position. Now, let me tell you what argument and strategy others are deploying. I have a lot of great friends who we consider kind of the national security hawks, right? And I care about national security. I want to make sure we have top line funding to meet the needs. But that's not to say that every dollar we've ever sent to the Department of Defense has been a good idea. I've just shown you, right, the mishaps that occur when there is not a careful hand watching over these things. So what the defense hawks want is more money for Ukraine. And they kind of get the drift that a majority of Republicans don't want to send more money unchecked to Ukraine. Actually, the majority has been voting against the latest iterations of Ukraine aid. So what they want, I believe, is to not really resolve the border in the context of the government funding dispute, because they want to take a border solution and lash it to Ukraine money. And then to guys like me, to guys like Eli Crane, Andy Biggs, they'll say, well, here's the deal. You have to vote for Ukraine money if you want the outcomes that will protect our nation on the border. But see, if we resolve the border issues now, before addressing Ukraine, maybe we never do, then we've got the chance to utilize our leverage effectively. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel with notifications turned on. You won't want to miss any of the breaking news.